I woke up to a miracle today. Triggers fade as I find my way. No judgment to lead astray. In this peaceful state I'll stay.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're looking into Lesson 283 of A Course in Miracles. My true identity abides in you.
This is one of those lessons that really helps us distinguish between the image we think we are and the self God created.
These recent lessons definitely guide us deeper. They're about actually living as that true self, not the anxious little picture we've constructed.
Exactly. So we invite you, as you listen, maybe let this be a time to consciously stop holding yourself up to any image of who you think you should be.
That constant effort is what this lesson points away from. And as always, if you have experiences or questions you'd like to share, please reach out to us at ACIM@theworldharmonyproject.org.
Let's move into the reading of the lesson itself.
Lesson 283. My true identity abides in you. Father, I made an image of myself, and it is this I call the Son of God. Yet is creation as it always was, for your creation is unchangeable. Let me not worship idols. I am he my Father loves. My holiness remains the light of heaven and the love of God. Is not what is beloved of you secure? Is not the light of heaven infinite? Is not your Son my true identity when you created everything that is?
Now are we one in shared identity, with God our Father as our only source, and everything created part of us. And so we offer blessing to all things, uniting lovingly with all the world, which our forgiveness has made one with us.
That opening statement, Father, I made an image of myself, and it is this I call the Son of God. That pinpoints the core mistake, doesn't it?
It truly does. Believing that this structure, our body, our personality, our personal history, all the things we cobbled together thinking they'd keep us safe, is actually who we are.
The lesson uses the word idol. It's anything we give our primary allegiance to, thinking it will give us security or happiness instead of the true source.
Precisely. The ego wants more than just an identity. It demands worship of that identity. It wants you to believe this image is your lifeline.
And worshiping it means constant upkeep. We have to feed it, defend it, polish it. The psychological energy drain is enormous.
It starts so early, too. We figure out what gets us approval, what avoids pain, and we start crafting this persona, often without even realizing it.
The initial feeling might be comfort, maybe even a sense of control, but it quickly becomes a kind of servitude to the image itself.
Yes, you become its servant.
Wow.
You have to maintain the facade.
I remember getting caught up in that whole hustle culture trend a while back, the idea of personal branding, treating yourself like a business.
Oh yes, that was everywhere. Market yourself, build your brand.
It started from a place of genuine excitement about work, I think, but it morphed into this constant pressure to project success, to manage how I was perceived.
And that requires constant vigilance, doesn't it? Every interaction becomes a potential threat or boost to the brand image.
Absolutely. You start measuring things by external validation, likes, comments, followers, promotions. And because those things are always shifting, the anxiety never really goes away.
Your worth gets tied to something inherently unstable.
I saw it reflected in how people curated their online presence. It wasn't always about connection. Sometimes it felt more like performance art, ensuring every post fit the successful narrative.
It can even bleed into relationships. I remember seeing a parent almost coaching their young child in corporate speak, pushing this image of competence onto them.
It's like forcing the worship of an idol before the child even knows what an idol is. The focus is entirely external.
And the emotional cost is huge. You're not genuinely relating, you're negotiating.
Yeah.
You're constantly managing the image's reception.
The moment it really clicked for me was when an online acquaintance, someone I'd known for years, abruptly blocked me.
Oh.
Because I hadn't reposted or publicly celebrated their latest brand launch tied to some marketing program they joined, it suddenly became clear the connection was conditional.
Conditional on feeding the idol.
Exactly. The friendship wasn't the point. Validating the brand was. Letting go of that whole self-branding persona afterwards. It felt like taking off a suit of armor I didn't know I was wearing.
That tightness, that performance anxiety just eases.
And the space that opens up, that's what the lesson points to as our true identity. The energy that was tied up in managing the image is suddenly free.
All that energy was consumed, proving an illusion instead of simply being.
But it's not always about external performance, is it? The ego demands we maintain internal images too, like the image of being competent.
Oh, absolutely. That one can be particularly strong, especially in professional settings or when learning something new.
That internal negotiation, it can be constant. I had an experience with this recently on a project. I was the newcomer, the only one without experience on a specific system.
Okay.
And a colleague kept offering advice, very basic stuff. And that internal voice, the ego defending its competent professional image, just flared up.
That urge to say, I know that already.
That defensive reflex, it's the ego trying to protect the image from perceived inadequacy.
Because the truth, our real self, isn't threatened by learning. But the idol feels perpetually vulnerable.
So practicing let me not worship idols in that moment meant choosing to just be quiet, let her share the information, absorb it.
And when you did need help,
I just asked directly without any excuse or justification. It felt surprisingly liberating.
because you stepped out from behind the confidence idol, you trusted your inherent value was fine, regardless of knowing that specific thing. Learning could happen instead of defending.
The real self doesn't need to posture or hide. It just is. When that need to prove competence drops, you can simply learn or contribute without the static of self-protection.
Which loops right back to that question in the lesson. Is not what is beloved of you secure?
Yes, the ego chases security in things that can't ultimately provide it. Money, status, reputation, they're all temporary.
It's like building sandcastles. They look solid for a moment, but the tide of change is inevitable.
And the course's metaphysics show why that security fails. The ego itself is rooted in lack, in separation. So anything it constructs for safety is inherently flawed and unstable.
It relies on the world standing still, which it never does. So when change comes, a job loss, a relationship ending, illness, aging, the fear floods right back in.
Because the foundation was faulty to begin with.
True security, the lesson tells us, isn't dependent on those external conditions at all. It comes from knowing our actual being was created safe and remains safe, regardless of worldly circumstances.
Which connects to, yet is creation as it always was, for your creation is unchangeable.
That line is so radical. It contrasts our everyday experience of time, where everything seems to change and decay, with the eternal reality where creation hasn't budged.
In the world, we strive to become safe, become worthy, become whole.
But this lesson says we are already safe, worthy, and whole, because what God created cannot be altered by time or circumstance. Security isn't something to achieve, it's something to remember.
So growth becomes a process of unveiling, of remembering what's already true, rather than building something new.
It challenges our deepest assumptions about ourselves as beings constantly in flux, needing improvement or fearing decline. To realize that the truth about us is stable, unchanging, that shifts everything.
It places the source of all insecurity squarely on our belief in time, change, and error itself.
I think about that story of Dorothy Graves, the 85-year-old woman who lost her home of 50 years in that terrible fire in Eton.
Yes, I remember that. A devastating loss. Decades of life, memories, possessions, gone.
And yet her response, when interviewed right after, was remarkably grounded. She said something like, I just can't break down, and was already talking about rebuilding.
It wasn't denial, was it? It felt deeper than that.
It felt like an inner certainty that while the house was lost, she wasn't. What was fundamentally real about her hadn't been touched by the fire.
She didn't collapse because her identity wasn't invested solely in the physical structure or its contents.
But this raises a point for us as students. If the course teaches the world is illusion, does that mean we're supposed to dismiss the reality of the fire, the loss, the suffering? How do we hold both the ultimate truth and compassionate human experience?
That's the practice ground, isn't it? We don't deny the appearance of loss or pain that would be another ego trick.
Instead, we use the appearance, the experience of loss, as a pointer. It reminds us that anything that can be lost cannot be our true identity.
It brings us back to, is not what is beloved of you secure. It redirects attention from the perishable, the house, the circumstance, to the imperishable source, our shared identity in God.
Dorothy Graves' strength suggests she understood, perhaps intuitively, that she wasn't just her home. Recognizing the house or the safety it represented as a potential idol frees you from collapsing when it's gone.
You shift from desperately trying to preserve the past to accepting the present moment, knowing your core self is untouched.
And this understanding flows naturally into the lesson's conclusion about shared identity. Because idols aren't always big things like houses or careers.
Right. They can be very subtle. Wanting to win an argument, needing to be seen as insightful or knowledgeable, even striving to appear more spiritual than someone else.
The ego is incredibly adaptable. It can even take the Course's teachings and try to build a new, improved, holy idol out of them. Look how forgiving I am, or I understand these deep concepts.
But the Course asks us to drop the entire act, not just replace one costume with another, even a seemingly virtuous one. Any attempt to stand out, to be special, reinforces the belief in separation.
And the remedy is right there in the second part. Now are we one in shared identity, with God our Father as our only source.
When that recognition dawns, forgiveness changes completely. It's no longer about pardoning someone for a wrong they committed against me.
It becomes the simple, quiet realization that, in truth, no separation ever happened. There's no other to forgive, fundamentally.
And this changes how we interact. That need to be right, to dominate the conversation, to subtly establish superiority, it just fades.
If we truly see ourselves as one, attacking or diminishing another makes no sense. It's like the left hand deciding to hit the right hand.
Your tone softens, you listen differently. Competition gives way to clarity and cooperation. This isn't just abstract philosophy, it shows up in small, practical ways. When you see that unity, the instinct to defend your little patch of territory, physical or psychological, starts to relax. The Holy Spirit's function seems to be gently nudging us back to that awareness whenever we forget, whenever we start polishing the idol again.
Forgetting is normal. The practice is just noticing and remembering.
So the application today really centers on catching that moment, the moment the tension rises, the performance starts, the defense mechanisms kick in.
And in that moment, gently reminding yourself where true security lies. Not attacking the image, but remembering it isn't you.
Let's outline those steps maybe as a way to practice this.
Okay. Step one would be pause and notice what's happening internally. Feel that tightness, that urge to interrupt or justify, that wave of comparison. Just notice the signal that the ego's trying to fix the image.
Step 2, gently repeat the core idea. Silently say, my true identity abides in you. A gentle reminder to the anxious part of the mind.
Step 3, acknowledge the feeling, the impulse. Observe that urge to defend, argue, plan your comeback. See it for what it is, the idol trying to maintain its illusion of importance without judgment.
Step 4, ask for help, for clarity. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you see connection instead of conflict, cooperation instead of competition. Ask for the vision of oneness.
And step 5, rest for a moment. Consciously let the image loosen. Stop performing. Allow yourself to be right where you are, knowing that the idealized version you feel you should be is irrelevant to who you truly are.
That surrender brings peace. It's realizing the self we share is already complete, already secure, already loved.
Our work isn't fixing the false image. It's remembering the truth that was never touched by the illusion in the first place. The core message from our discussion today is that the image we construct, no matter how elaborate, cannot provide lasting security. Remembering that our shared self is already complete, loved, and secure within frees us from the exhausting need to perform.
We can find rest in the awareness that nothing real can be threatened. Only the false image feels vulnerable. This quiet confidence is the true anchor in a world of constant change.
Please join us next time as we continue this daily practice, moving into Lesson 284.